Hi, my name is Paul Knackstedt, again from Virginia Tech, and I'm here to talk about our Hokies Helping Hokies Heal program, specifically the development of this program and how we helped our mentors train for how they could provide support for our mentees going through our program. I'm going to cover our program and how we developed this through 8 different phases, from the start of our program with our needs assessment to how we collaborated with our sports medicine department to developing the criteria to become a mentor or a mentee, down through matching our mentees with mentors and with our training program and protocol, to our information that we divided our program with and provided this informal meetings to our mentees and mentors, and provided mentor and mentee groups as well as a portion of our program, to mentor and mentee feedback that we collected at the end, which is going to come back to informing our program as we move forward. Our needs assessment, as all needs assessments do, kind of gather information and identify some areas that we may be missing on our campus right now. We were hearing from some of our individual clients, as well as from discussions with our athletic trainers and our doctors on campus, that our athletics, we just weren't meeting the needs of what our student athletes, especially those that were injured, were going through at the time. And they were really needing some more support, specifically from other student athletes. And after talking to our student athlete development and members of our student athlete advisory committee, we developed some strategies and identified some areas where we thought we could help within our department. And what we found was some obstacles that we thought were getting in the way of our previous attempts to cater to their needs. And what we noticed was, in the past, some scheduling issues with what all of our student athletes go through were one of the obstacles that people identified. Trying to have all of our student athletes come at one particular time on a specific night just wasn't working for a really busy student athlete schedule. Also, what people identified as the culture of athletics was something that I think, as practitioners and people familiar with an athletic department, continues to be brought up as something that gets in the way of people seeking out support. Over the years, with a reduction of stigma, I think we've all found ways to meet the needs of our student athletes. And in doing this program for the past year, we haven't seen the culture of athletics or resistance to seeking out support as being something that the people in our program really identified as an obstacle anymore. Also, serving those in needs, having the right people in our program was something that we were concerned about. We also noticed that having a thorough screening aspect of our mentors and mentees in our program really helped us to feel like we were doing good, productive work and seeing the outcomes that we wanted to from our program. A strong collaboration with sports medicine, as well as those other departments that I mentioned previously, our student athlete development, as well as SAC and some other student organizations, really helped us to know that, hey, we were hearing what's needed out there, but also we were able to involve them in the implementation strategies on campus, helped us to know that we were supported, but also involving people that student athletes felt comfortable with. In our planning meeting, I was able to bring in some members of our sports medicine staff that were really connected to this initiative. Hisham really was involved with this. He attended our ACC Mental Health Summit last year with me. He was my roommate, and we were inspired by some of the conversations we heard from our staff at UVA, who are also on this Zoom meeting here today, about some of the work they were doing involving mentorship. And on our van ride back from last year, we talked about how we could apply some of the themes we heard about mentorship specifically to the topic of athlete injury. And we really thought about applying a specific program to this population and to specific needs to cater to them. And we involved one of our higher ups within sports medicine, Ann Bryan, and she really helped us really implement and apply some of the programs within this population and extend that outward to our student athlete population. The three of us met for our planning meeting, and we discussed the data from the initial needs assessment, as well as developing criteria for our program. We assessed the database of our student athletes, and we really identified who would benefit from this and where we would really cut off which student athletes are not going to be involved and which ones would more benefit from connecting with other student athletes from a mentor and mentee perspective. We also kind of identified the list of possible mentors based on the values of our program. We wanted people that would communicate well. We wanted people that were motivated throughout their rehab procedure, as well as those that demonstrated leadership characteristics that we really wanted to be passed down to our mentees that were going through difficult times during the rehab process, which is a completely normal aspect of going through an injury and going through that return to play aspect of this. We also planned that initial contact with our potential mentors. We wanted them to feel prepared for those conversations because we knew some of our mentees going through a difficult time would maybe push back from wanting support from someone else or being vulnerable, because as we know within athletics that sometimes people don't really want to show weakness to others, especially those in their team. And that was an obstacle that we wanted them to feel prepared for. Developing educational introduction about the program was not only important to our student athletes and mentors, but also for our athletic trainers. So we wanted to prepare education for our athletic trainers and our mentors about how to do this and how to have conversations about the role of this program and how they can really help. This inclusion criteria for our program, what we identified was we wanted our mentees to be separated from sport for 6 weeks. We thought that this would be enough time for them to have some difficulties of separation from sport, which Karen mentioned in her introduction. Some of the social isolation and difficulties with anxiety and depression that tend to come up when you are separated from sport and not able to develop some of the confidence and mastery that comes from being connected to something that you've invested so much time in your life. Also, we thought that mentees should be prepared for gaining consent as well. We wanted our athletic trainers to really emphasize this is voluntary. You don't have to be a part of this, but we want you to be invested when you're ready. So we made sure that that was a part of this process as well. Also, our mentors, we wanted them obviously to be separated just like the mentees, 6 weeks plus, as well as demonstrating these same leadership characteristics. We wanted them to be prepared to show these leadership characteristics to our mentees and how they faced the adversity and overcame it. We wanted them to have a positive outcome from the rehab. We wanted them to not necessarily, be on top of their game performance-wise, but to be back integrated into the team, to be a leader in some ways when they're back integrated into their system, but also successfully rejoining their team in terms of the social aspects of what they're expected to do in terms of integration. Matching our mentors and mentees, we really wanted to do some gender-based matching because we thought there was a higher chance of focused discussion when they got together, but also they would be able to discuss more gender-based issues that could come up within a team or within certain expectations that can come up within an athletic culture. We also thought that matching student athletes based on similar or exact injuries would be something that they would have more detailed or in-depth conversations about. So we tried to do that with our matches as well. After these matches, we thought it would be important to be able to provide some guidance to our student athlete mentors about how to contact the mentees and what to say to them. So we provided that as well. The bulk of our initial meeting with our mentors was to provide this training protocol. We spent, I think it was 90 minutes in this first meeting about how we could set goals and what we can do during this first meeting. And we really wanted in that first meeting to help them connect, not only with their own experience, but with other people in that room that were interested in this program. We wanted them to develop awareness of what this experience was like for them, because we realized that most people, when they go through this process of being injured, of struggling through that process of rehab, and then get back to play, a lot of our athletes block off that experience, that painful experience, and are really excited to get back and don't spend much time thinking about the past. So part of being a mentor for us was reconnecting to that experience so they can help a mentee who's freshly going through it get back in touch with that and help them develop some strategies. So we did some awareness-based work around how was it for you? And we got some feedback about how helpful that was. We talked about training skills. We talked about identifying relevant themes to the injury process. We facilitated a lot of discussions around, as Karen noted earlier, the relationships that tend to struggle when we're separated from teams, how it impacts our identity, what happens to our self-worth, savoring our experiences and how we take things for granted at times when we are participating, and what it's like to be separated, but also trusting ourselves and rebuilding that trust. We ask mentors to remember those parts of the rehab process, like I said, in order to develop that empathy. We also did some processing, which for some student athletes may not be something that they're maybe as familiar with at the time. And we asked them to really delve a little bit deeper into those emotions and experiences, first individually, and then in pairs. And we thought that paired off work was something that really made this mentor training protocol important. Because when they were able to take their own experiences and share what they felt was important, that it opened up that experience and made it more applicable to what they were going to be doing with their mentees. So we talked about what it was like with that experience to be talking about it with that pair, and then how they felt connected to others and what they noticed about their emotions related to their injuries. And many said, I haven't been in touch with that experience for a long time. And moving into the meetings of the mentors and mentees, this moving forward was a really important piece, because we didn't put requirements around how many times they had to meet. It was up to them. They already have enough aspects that are out of their control in terms of when they have to be where, what they have to wear, all these aspects outside of their control. And we thought, we don't want to put boundaries around this and just allow them to meet when they wanted to. And they really gave us positive feedback about this later when we asked for feedback. We also provided a Google form where the mentors could fill out afterwards that allowed them to give us feedback about what they were observing with their mentee. We also had a group aspect to our mentor-mentee program, and we emphasized more of a process-based focus. This first year, we were only able to meet one time in our group, and this is something we hope to expand, and we got feedback that that would be a really good thing. Our process-based group was focused on some of Yalam's group therapy factors that we thought really applied strongly to what we were talking about. The universality of experience, imparting information from each other and what was helpful, the altruism that comes through in a mentor relationship, existential factors of dealing with pain and suffering in all of our lives, the group cohesiveness that came through when we got together, but also the interpersonal learning that comes through, I think, when we're all together in that space. And lastly, the feedback that we got at the end of the semester is going to be huge for us to circle back and continue to implement and improve, strategies to get this program to where we want it to be. This first class of mentors and mentees are going to continue to help us raise this program up, and providing increased opportunities to meet mentees after the match. Our mentees sometimes didn't really get involved, and our mentors didn't think that a text message or an email was the thing that was going to get them to really buy in. So facilitating a follow through with the program, as well as coming maybe to the athletic training room to watch maybe a workout and really get to know what the injury is and how they can help, was something that they really thought would really be a part of this. Or a mediated match session with myself could be something to really link the two of them together and get buy-in, as well as more group meetings, either through Zoom or in person as we move forward, and increasing awareness for the program. We have a student athlete orientation at the beginning of the year. Finding ways to integrate that into it would be a great addition as well. Making it an honor to be a part of this program is something that was noted as well. Trying to improve how people carry themselves and the leadership capabilities and characteristics that they integrate as a mentor is something that we're trying to bring into this program. Thank you.